At the start of the drama, we see the male lead, Yihan, whom his crew members were trying to wake up. On the other side, we see the female lead, Pei-yu, who was running towards a bus stop. There were posters of Yihan everywhere, from which we learn that he is a famous actor, and Pei-yu also likes him. Then, Kandi, who is his manager, enters Yihan's house. As soon as she arrives, Yihan immediately gets up. She tells him to get ready immediately. Meanwhile, Pei-yu runs to her shop. She is just about to place her finger on the machine when her boss appears in front of her, and her finger lands on his nipples. Then, she immediately places her finger on the machine. The boss doesn't say anything to her because he has a VIP customer today, which makes him very happy. Elsewhere, Kandi is taking Yihan to a press conference. She tells him to get ready quickly, but he is running very late. Just then, Kandi gets a call, and her mood sours as soon as she answers it. She then tells Yihan, "Someone else has been cast in your place in the movie because the director didn't particularly like you." Hearing this, he gets very angry and drives away in his car. Kandi is about to follow him in her car when her husband stops her and says, "You have to come with me to my mother's birthday party right now." Kandi says, "I will come a little later," but her husband starts forcing her. Meanwhile, Pei-yu is sitting in her shop working when her friend tells her, "You paint so well, I still haven't learned how." Just then, her boss comes and gives her an order to go somewhere. Pei-yu is on her scooter when Yihan comes from the opposite direction in his car, and they have an accident, but neither of them is hurt at all. Just then, Pei-yu gets a call from Zishu. Because she is late, Zishu cancels her membership. Pei-yu is about to leave when she feels concerned for Yihan, so she comes over to check on him. But he was pretending to be unconscious. Pei-yu thinks of breaking his car's glass with a stone to get him out. But by then, Yihan opens the door and the stone hits him on the head. And the scene cuts right there. In the next scene, we see Pei-yu at the hospital. Kandi has also arrived there. She tells her staff members the news that Yihan had an accident, which is why he can't do this movie, should not get out on the internet. Then she goes to Yihan. Yihan sees the injury on her hand and asks, "Did your husband trouble you again?" But Kandi ignores the question. Just then, Pei-yu arrives. Kandi offers her money for bringing Yihan to the hospital, but Pei-yu refuses to take it. So Kandi gives her a card and says, "Call me whenever you need any kind of help." After this, Pei-yu returns to her shop, where her boss is very angry with her and says, "A VIP customer left because of you." Elsewhere, we see Zishu, who is an actress. She arrives at the airport where many of her fans have gathered. Just then, her passport falls. A little later, a boy comes up to her, and Zishu thinks he might be one of her fans. But the boy doesn't even know her. He just gives her the passport and leaves. Seeing this, Zishu asks her manager to find out about that boy. Meanwhile, Kandi is in the car with Yihan. She was very upset and drunk because her husband was going to divorce her. But Kandi didn't want a divorce, so she was distressed. Yihan was consoling her and hugging her. And from a distance, a person was clicking pictures of them. The next day, those pictures are posted on social media. Everyone starts talking about them. Kandi is telling reporters, "Yihan wasn't with me last night, he was in the hospital." But no one was believed her. Just then, her husband arrives and he too speaks ill of her. Just then, Pei-yu arrives and says, "I am a witness to the fact that Yihan was in the hospital yesterday." And she also shows some pictures of herself with Yihan. At this, the reporters start asking her what her relationship with Yihan is. Just then, Yihan comes forward and says, "Pei-yu is my girlfriend, and we are going to get married soon." And then he takes Pei-yu with him and leaves. In the car, Pei-yu asks him, "What is all this you've said? How can I marry you?" Yihan says, "For now, let it be. Later, I will tell the media that we broke up and everything will be fine." But Kandi says, "No, no one will trust you now. You will have to get married." But Pei-yu gets very upset by all this, gets out of the car and leaves. Then Yihan and Kandi go home. Yihan says, "Why did Pei-yu refuse to marry me? She even took pictures with me." Kandi says, "Leave that to me. You tell me, where will you get married?" Hearing this, Yihan remembers a flashback scene where he was holding a very beautiful wedding dress and was about to propose to Kandi with it. But when Kandi arrives, there is a boy with her, which comes as a huge shock to Yihan. And that same boy is Kandi's husband in the present. Just then, Kandi gets a call from someone. She was about to go meet them, but Yihan tells her he is not a good person. Meanwhile, at Pei-yu's shop, everyone is asking about her marriage. Just then, the boss comes and tells Pei-yu, "We need to add a VIP member. He has booked many appointments for you." She understands that Yihan did all this. Meanwhile, Yihan is looking at the dress he had chosen for Kandi some time ago. Elsewhere, Pei-yu has come to meet a lady from whom she was going to buy a house for her mom. But the lady informs her, "I have found another customer who is buying my house for more money than you." Pei-yu pleads a lot, so the lady gives her until 12 p.m. the next day. Then Pei-yu sits there and starts crying, thinking, "Where will I get so much money in one day?" Sitting there, she was also remembering her mom, who had left her in childhood. The next day at the shop, Gao Long, who was a reporter, comes to meet Pei-yu, and he starts asking her a lot of questions about Yehan. But Pei-yu couldn't answer the questions properly and was getting very troubled. Just then, Yehan arrives, puts her in his car, and takes her away. Seeing him leave, the reporter says, "I'll see how long you can keep up this act." After going some distance, Yehan tells Pei-yu, "I will do whatever you say, just marry me." But Pei-yu refuses. After going a little further, Yehan gets out of the car and brings her the papers for the house that Pei-yu wanted to buy. Yehan had bought the house. Then, she also agrees to marry him. Then, Candy calls them for a meeting. When they get there, she tells them to live together in one house. But both of them do not agree to this. Candy insists on her point, saying, "If you don't live together, people will think it's all fake, and problems will arise again." Then, the news of Pei-yu and Yehan's marriage spreads everywhere. When Pei-yu goes to her shop, she sees that many reporters are standing there and asking her boss questions about her and her relationship. Pei-yu sneaks into the shop from the back. Many people had also sent her very expensive gifts, which Pei-yu thinks of selling. He calls her to a shop. There, Pei-yu tries on her wedding dress. But when Yehan sees her in that dress, he becomes very angry. Seeing this, Pei-yu is also shocked. Then Yehan returns to his house. Candy asks him to sign another movie, but Yehan didn't want to work right now. Candy says, "You have to work for the money." Hearing this, Yehan gets very angry and snatches the script from her hand. Just then, Candy's divorce paper falls into his hand. Seeing it, he says, "So you've divorced your husband. Now everything is out in the open, and you know how much I love you. I've been waiting for you for the last 10 years. But Candy says, "I don't like you." Upset by this, he leaves. Pei-yu also overhears all of this because she was there too. Yehan was very upset, so he goes out of the house at night and is shocked to see his house when he returns in the morning. His messy house was now completely clean, and Pei-yu had done all this. She was sleeping on the sofa. Yehan wakes her up by shouting loudly in her ear and says, "How dare you touch my things?" Pei-yu is about to answer when he says, "I'm very sleepy right now. I'll talk to you about this later." And then he goes to his room. Just then, he hears a noise from downstairs. He comes out to see that Pei-yu was making something for herself. Then they both sit down and eat. The next day is their engagement ceremony, where everyone is waiting for Yehan. But he doesn't show up. Pei-yu logs into Yehan's social media and posts, "We both won't be able to come today." Seeing this post, all the guests leave. Then director Lin arrives, who was Pei-yu's childhood friend. Lin asks Pei-yu, "Is your relationship real? Because you guys don't post anything on social media." Pei-yu manages the situation by lying. Then Lin drops her at her house. When Pei-yu comes inside, Yehan starts bothering her. Just then, a boy comes and hugs Pei-yu. He is Pei-yu's brother, Lu Ming. To this, Pei-yu says, "How can that be? I am my mom's only daughter." Lu Ming tells her, "My mom married your dad, and they both passed away some time ago." And he also shows them some of their photos, which makes Pei-yu believe him. And she starts crying after hearing about her mom's death. Yehan comforts her. Then Lu Ming takes her to his room, where Pei-yu gets very upset seeing her mom's photos. Lu Ming says, "My mom was the best mom in the world." But for Pei-yu, she wasn't that good. She had left her in childhood. Then we see Candy, who is texting Yehan, saying, "You have to go to the meeting tomorrow, or we will suffer a huge loss." Then Yehan starts looking for that script. He finds the script. Pei-yu tells him, "This script is very good." So Yehan says, "That means you touched this script," and he gets angry at her and leaves. Lu Ming also sees all this and says, "Your boyfriend behaves with you like this. If it were me, I would never do that." To this, Pei-yu says, "No, he's not like that. He's just practicing for a character." Then they both go to their room to sleep together, where Yehan is reading his movie script and Pei-yu is listening to him. Suddenly, she starts remembering her mom and starts crying, and she falls asleep while crying. When she wakes up in the morning, she sees that Yehan is sleeping next to her. Seeing him, she starts screaming and quickly gets up. Yehan tells her, "Last night you were the one who came to me and started crying." Hearing this, she goes out of the room. Then the scene shifts to the meeting, where director Lin is sitting. After some discussion, Yehan gets the role of the main lead. After that, Pei-yu and Lin go for lunch, and Yehan also comes and joins them. The three of them are having lunch together when Candy comes there with a gift for Yehan, which he liked very much. Then the next day, Yehan and Pei-yu come for a photo shoot. Lu Ming is also watching them there. During the photo shoot, the photographer asks them to kiss, so Yehan kisses Pei-yu, but he had placed one of his fingers between their lips. The next day, all these photos are published in a magazine. At Pei-yu's shop, all the girls are very jealous of Pei-yu after seeing the photos. Just then, Lin calls Pei-yu and offers her brother a job as his personal assistant. Then we see Zishu, who is going somewhere for a shoot when she sees Lu Ming on a bicycle. Seeing him, she immediately gets out of her car and runs towards him. But by then, Lu Ming gets a call from Pei-yu, and he leaves from there. So, Zishu is unable to meet him even today. Then, Lu Ming comes to Pei-yu, and they both go to director Lin. There, Lin tells Lu Ming something related to work. After this, Pei-yu starts looking for Yihan there because he had also come there for the shoot. Just then, she finds Zishu there, who starts bothering her. A little later, Lu Ming also arrives, and when Zishu finds out that Pei-yu is his sister, she starts to behave very innocently in front of Lu Ming. Pei-yu doesn't understand why she has suddenly started talking to her so nicely. After they both leave, Zishu says to her manager, "What have I done? I bothered my future husband's sister. Now, after marriage, she will bother me." And she starts imagining all of this. After this, Pei-yu comes to the shop, where her boss tells her to invite Yihan to dinner. But Pei-yu puts them off with some excuse or another. Meanwhile, Yihan is in his car and is very hungry. Just then, he asks his friend about Candy. They tell him she has probably gone on a date. Hearing this, Yihan gets very angry. Then we see Pei-yu, who is cooking in the kitchen. Just then, Yihan comes there and asks, "Why are you so happy?" So she tells him, Lu Ming got a job today and he is shifted there. And she says, "You go and freshen up. I'll set the dinner." After a while, Yihan sits at the dining table and says, "You haven't mixed poison in this, have you?" But when he tastes the food, he finds it very good. The next day, Pei-yu convinces Yihan and brings him to a hotel room for dinner, where her boss is very happy to see Yihan. And then they all drink a lot. Then we see Zishu, who has come to the hotel wearing a mask to find Lu Ming. Just then, she sees her staff members who are sitting together and bad-mouthing her, which makes her very upset. Just then, Lu Ming comes and takes her out of there. Zishu hugs him and says while crying, "I'm not as bad as they think I am." Then Lu Ming drops her to her house. Then we see Yihan and Lin. They were both very drunk and they are playing a game. The same two staff members were talking about them, saying that there is no chemistry between Pei-yu and Yihan. Then Pei-yu manages to bring Yihan home and puts him to sleep in the bedroom, and she herself is lying next to him. Yihan starts looking at her intently and is about to kiss her when Pei-yu wakes up and is about to leave. Just then, Yihan mistakes her for Candy. He grabs her from behind and says, "How much longer do I have to wait for you? I love you so much. I haven't seen anything good in my life. When I was 6 years old, my mother left me, and after my stepmother came, my dad never supported me either. And my grandmother, whom I love the most, she also left this world." While saying all this, he falls asleep. When he wakes up in the morning, he didn't remember anything. He asks Pei-yu about last night. She says jokingly, "You were very drunk last night, and that's why you told me all your secrets." Hearing this, Yihan goes to his room and locks the door from the inside. Pei-yu comes after him and says, "I can help you meet Candy." Hearing this, he opens the door and asks, "How?" After this, we see Yihan on his set, where he is shooting. Candy has also come there. They both come out to talk. Yihan asks, "Where have you been all these days?" So she tells him, "I was busy with my divorce." Yihan says, "Why don't you make me your boyfriend? I love you so much." Candy says, "I don't like you." Then we see Pei-yu, who is working in her shop when she gets a call from Yihan. He tells her, "I talked to Candy, but she rejected me." Pei-yu says, "Give her some time. She is angry right now." Then Yihan returns to his dressing room and talks very nicely to everyone. At this, they are also surprised. How did such a change come over him all of a sudden? Then he comes to Pei-yu's shop to pick her up and tells her everything that happened today. Pei-yu says, "Don't worry, one day she will start loving you." Then, going home, Pei-yu says, "You should do something for her that will impress Candy. How about this? You make breakfast for her tomorrow morning and take it to her." As soon as he hears this, Yihan immediately goes to the kitchen and starts trying to make something. Pei-yu goes to her room and sleeps. When she comes back to the kitchen in the morning, she sees that Yihan is still in the kitchen trying to make something. He had been up all night making one dish. When Pei-yu tastes it, she starts vomiting. Then she tells him how to make that dish. Yihan makes that dish and takes it to the set and gives it to Candy, and she likes it very much. The next morning when Pei-yu wakes up, a reminder comes on her phone. It was her birthday today. She thinks, probably no one even knows about this. She is getting up and going to the kitchen when Yihan tells her, "Don't work today. Today is a special day." Hearing this, she feels that maybe Yihan remembers her birthday. But Yihan says, "Today marks 10 full years of my and Candy's friendship, so we are going out for dinner." Then Yihan and Pei-yu go to a jewelry shop together where Pei-yu likes a necklace. Yihan tells her, "I will gift this to Candy." He also buys a necklace there for Pei-yu and says, "I am giving this to you because you are helping me meet Candy." Then Pei-yu comes to her shop and is very happy looking at herself in the mirror wearing that necklace. A little later, Lin calls her and asks her to come with him to celebrate her birthday, but Pei-yu refuses and says, I have to go celebrate my birthday with Yihan. But Lin knew that Yihan didn't even remember her birthday. Meanwhile, Yihan is at the hotel with Kandi and also gives her that necklace. Kandi says, the dinner you made today was very good, and all these changes are happening in you because of Pei-yu. Here we see Zishu, who has a high fever, due to which she couldn't even do her shoot properly today. That's why she calls Lu Ming and asks him to come to her. When Pei-yu comes home from the shop, she gets a message from an unknown number that says, there is a surprise for you. Open the door. When she opens the door, she finds a gift there and a letter too, which had an address of a place and Yihan's name was written on it. So Pei-yu quickly gets ready and goes to that address. When Yihan comes home and sees that gift, he thinks that Pei-yu has gone on a date with someone. Then he sees that letter and goes to find Pei-yu. Meanwhile, someone makes Pei-yu unconscious and takes her to another place. Yihan, while searching for her, reaches that place and finds Pei-yu's necklace there, the one he had given her. That's why Yihan finds her and brings her home with him. On the way, Pei-yu says, how stupid I am. Someone gave me a letter in your name and I went there. To this, Yihan says, it's okay, we are celebrities, so sometimes this happens. Coming home, Yihan asks her, do you like me? Pei-yu says, weren't you on a dinner date with Kandi? Then what are you doing here? To this, Yihan says, just like that. Then when she comes to her room, she sees that inside, Yihan had planned a birthday surprise for her. Seeing that, Pei-yu is very happy. Yihan tells her, you told me that you haven't celebrated your birthday for many years, so I planned all this for you. In the morning, Lu Ming comes to meet Pei-yu, and after knowing what happened to her last night, he says sorry to her, that so much happened to her and he couldn't come. Then, in the conversation, he tells her, Zishu has a cold, and she won't be able to come to the shoot. At this, Pei-yu says, how do you know so much detail about her? What is going on between you two? Lu Ming doesn't answer this properly and goes to the kitchen. After he leaves, Pei-yu asks Yihan about Zishu. What kind of girl is she? She won't hurt my brother, will she? Yihan tells her, she's fine, a good actress. Then Pei-yu gets a call from her boss. They were coming to their house to meet Yihan, but Pei-yu refuses them. But still, her boss and all the people from the shop suddenly come to their house. Seeing this, Pei-yu is also getting very angry. All those people start moving expensive things around in her house. Ching comes into Yihan's room where she finds their marriage contract in a drawer. She is about to take that contract file when Pei-yu comes there and calls them all downstairs to eat. Just then, Yihan comes there with food for everyone. Seeing him, everyone is very surprised and also happy. Then we see Gao Long, who was secretly taking photos of Yihan. Then he comes to the hospital. His sister was very sick. Gao Lang comes to her and says, the one who did this to you, I will definitely take revenge on him. Then we see Yihan and Pei-yu. After all the guests have left, Yihan starts getting very close to her and is about to kiss her when he stops and tells her, clean this living room. And going into the washroom, he looks at himself in the mirror and says, why did I do that? And his reflection answers him, because you've started to like her. Then we see Lu Ming, who is helping a girl. Just then, Zishu sees him and goes to him and starts fighting. Lu Ming says, why are you doing this? So she says, I am your girlfriend. You spent a night with me. And she starts blackmailing him. Lu Ming tells Pei-yu about this. When Lu Ming comes to the set, everyone is talking about him. Hearing all this, he doesn't feel good at all. Just then, Zishu arrives. Seeing her, he starts to leave. So Zishu goes after him and innocently confesses her love. Lu Ming says, I was only helping you, but after her repeated requests, he agrees to be her boyfriend. After this, Zishu is very happy and comes for her shoot. Then Pei-yu also arrives there, and they all come to a place for dinner together. Just then, an unknown person enters Yihan's house and takes their dating contract from there. The next day, when Yihan is on his set, he calls Pei-yu and asks her to bring him food. When she brings food to the set, her foot gets caught in a wire, and a lamp is about to fall on her when she bends down, but her top gets torn in it. Just then, Lin comes there and gives her his jacket. Yihan also comes there and starts taking Pei-yu away from there. The media people have also come there. Seeing them, they both start running. The media people are also behind them. They both go and hide in a room. Yihan tells her to take off Lin's jacket, but she doesn't take it off. But Yihan forcefully tries to take it off. Just then, they both come in front of the window, and the media people are also watching them do this. The next day, Yihan is laughing at their photos in his house and is teasing Pei-yu about how funny she looks in those photos. In the next scene, Pei-yu goes to the shop on her scooter when Yihan arrives in his car, and then they both go on a date. Pei-yu asks, why did you bring me here? Yihan answers, "Today, I will train you on what all needs to be done for public attention." Then he removes his mask, and wherever he goes, people are taking his photos. Then they both go to the frozen world built right there, where Pei-yu likes it very much. Then they both come out of there. Pei-yu asks him, "How does it feel to be a celebrity?" Yi-han says, "Sometimes I don't like being a celebrity that much. I want to be a singer." Then he takes out his phone and shows Pei-yu that their recent photos had gone viral and their dating news was trending. Seeing this news, they both laugh and then start to leave from there. Lin is also watching this news. Then we see Ching, who had the dating contract, because that night, she was the one who had stolen that contract from Yi-han's house. Just then, she gets a call from Gaolang. He asks, "Did you find anything about Yi-han?" But she doesn't tell him anything about the contract. Meanwhile, Zishu also sees this news and thinks that she will also make her and Lu Ming's relationship public. The next day, she gifts Lu Ming a shirt on which boyfriend was written, and wears a shirt herself on which girlfriend was written. Both were going to go out wearing couple t-shirts, but Lu Ming was not liking all this at all. Then, arriving on the set, Zishu starts acting as if something has fallen into her eye. So Lu Ming helps her. She did this so that Lu Ming would come close to her and they could get a romantic photo. She had already called the photographer for this. Then Zishu pretends to have injured her leg. Lu Ming starts carrying her on his shoulder. Just then he sees the cameraman. Seeing this, he puts Zishu down and gets angry at her, and leaves from there. Yi-han is on the shoot where he had to lift a heavy bag and take it upstairs. He was doing this shoot well, but Lin repeatedly asked him to do the shoot again. On this matter, they both have an argument, and Lin also calls him an unprofessional actor. To this, Yi-han says, "Now, there will be no more shooting," and leaves from there in anger. Lin calls Candy and tells her everything about this. Yi-han comes to the shop to pick up Pei-yu, where she is very shocked to see him and says, "How did you get here?" and also asks him to wait for a while. Yi-han compliments her on her work. Then they both go to a roadside place and are drinking, where Pei-yu is trying to convince him to go back to the set and work properly. Yi-han says, "When I wasn't famous, everyone praised my work. But ever since I became famous, no one likes my work, and I have no freedom. Maybe it's because I'm not a good actor." Pei-yu says, "No, he is a very good actor." And she describes his character in great detail. Yi-han is very impressed by this and says, "You've watched all my episodes from the beginning." And then he kisses her. The next day, when Pei-yu is in her shop, she is thinking about last night and is feeling very shy. On the other hand, Yi-han was on the set, and he was in the same condition. He messages Pei-yu. Just then, he gets a message from Ching. She had sent him photos of their dating contract, and she asked him to come and meet her in a hotel. Seeing all this, Yi-han is very shocked. Then, when Yi-han reaches that hotel room, Ching is there. As soon as he comes into the room, Ching locks the room from the inside, but she doesn't lock it. And coming close to him, she says, "I knew you could never like Pei-yu. Make me your girlfriend. In return, I will give the contract back." She starts getting very close to Yi-han. Just then, Yi-han grabs her from behind and shows her the CCTV footage of his house on his phone, saying, "If I give this to the police, you will be arrested. And for coming into my apartment without my permission, you will be charged separately for that." Just then, Pei-yu arrives and sees them both like that. Ching tells her, "Yi-han was the one who called me here and he is trying to do wrong with me." And she gets up and leaves from there. Then they both come home. Pei-yu was very angry, but Yi-han doesn't tell her anything about this. The next day, Yi-han was talking to his friend that he will soon marry Pei-yu. At this, his friend says, "But you liked Candy." He is shocked and says, "How do you know?" He says, "Everyone knows about it." But now, Yi-han had started liking Pei-yu, but he was not able to accept this fact yet. Then we see Pei-yu, who gets a call from Lin, and she comes to the set to meet him. Yi-han also sees her coming there and starts following her. Lin asks Pei-yu about his script, so she describes his script in great detail. Hearing this, Lin is quite shocked and says, "You know so much about the script and you also know the character very well. You should also work in it." To this, Pei-yu says, "You are my friend. I should know about this." Yi-han, who was standing there, also hears these things and comes there and says, "Pei-yu will not work here." And holding her hand, he brings her home and says, "Why do you want to work with him? Is he more important to you than me?" To this, she says, "Yes, he is important." Hearing this, Yi-han is hurt, and he comes to the set and starts taking out his anger on the makeup artist. Just then, Zishu asks him, "What happened to you? Why are you so angry?" Yi-han says, "The person you are with, if they give importance to someone other than you, why does it hurt us?" Zishu says, "It means you like that person." Here, Zishu starts to feel that Yi-han probably likes someone other than Pei-yu. So she also tells this to Lu Ming. Meanwhile, Yi-han is sitting at home thinking about whether he likes Pei-yu or Candy, but he is unable to choose between the two. He calls Candy and starts talking to her. Just then, he sees that Pei-yu was talking to Lin on the phone. So he says bye to Candy and cuts the call and starts listening to Pei-yu's conversation. Pei-yu and Lin were making a plan to meet in a restaurant. Yi-han overhears this and reaches that restaurant before they go there. Candy also comes there. Yi-han tells her about Ching. The contract has fallen into her hands. Yi-han says, I will solve this problem myself now. He says that maybe now I should marry Pei-yu. Candy asks, have you started liking Pei-yu now? To this, Yi-han says, no, but in his heart, he was very happy. Candy says, you should marry the one you like. Then we see Ching, who brings that contract and gives it to Gao Lang's. Gao Lang offers her money in return for it. Pei-yu goes home and turns on the lights, but the lights were not turning on. She sees Yi-han, who was sitting right there. As soon as Pei-yu arrives, he asks her, why didn't you come to the restaurant today? I was waiting for you there. Pei-yu says that their plan changed at the last moment, so she didn't come. Yi-han says, I met Candy today. I wanted to propose to her, but I couldn't do it because Pei-yu was on my mind. To this, Pei-yu says, you're lying. You're fooling me again. Just then, Yi-han turns on the lights there. Pei-yu sees that he had decorated the room very nicely to propose to her. Seeing all this, Pei-yu is very shocked. Yi-han tells her, you helped me a lot. You never considered me immature. You made me a different person. I like you now. Yi-han says, I love you to her, and also kisses her. The next morning when Pei-yu's eyes open, she was sleeping next to Yi-han. Seeing this, she starts screaming. Just then, Yi-han lays her down on the bed again and kisses her, saying, don't be scared. This house is mine, and you are also mine. Then, Yi-han tells her to get ready and tells her to wear a dress that matches his suit. Both of them go somewhere by car. Pei-yu asks, where are we going? Yi-han says, we are going to get married. Pei-yu says, you just proposed to me yesterday, and today we are getting married. I haven't even thought about anything yet. Yi-han says, you don't need to think about anything. I have already thought of everything. Then they both come to the marriage registration hall where people recognize them and start taking their pictures. Then their couple picture is shot there. Yi-han puts the marriage ring on Pei-yu, and she is very happy. Then they both come home together, and Candy was also there. She shows them on her phone that the news of their marriage has now gone viral. And she says, what if Ching comes in front of you with the marriage registration form and says that her marriage is also fake, then what will happen? Hearing this, Yi-han thinks, should I have thought once before making this decision? Then Candy leaves from there, and they both come to the room and start talking about their past lives. Then we see Zishu, who had thrown a party. Lu Ming had also come there. Zishu's best friend starts flirting with Lu Ming and says, Zishu has had 10 boyfriends, but you are the most handsome. My birthday is in a few days, so you must come there. Then she gives Lu Ming her contact number and leaves. A notification comes on Pei-yu's phone, and we see everyone together at Yi-han's house, where Zishu tells them rumors of their dating have spread. Candy says, after this, Yi-han might be removed from his movie. For this, all we can do is have him publicly apologize. The next morning, Yi-han and Pei-yu are making breakfast when a noise is heard from outside. When they open the door, it's Zishu and Lu Ming. Zishu had come to move in next to them. Pei-yu asks her, what are you doing here? You should be on the set. Zishu tells her that director Lin had said that if Yi-han is not in this movie, she won't be either. And Lin had told the producer that Yi-han is an actor and half the movie has been shot with him, and we have nothing to do with his personal life. And this movie is his dream, so we can't remove him from this movie. And if he is not in the movie, then he will not work here either. Hearing this, Yi-han is quite shocked that Lin took his side. Then they invite Lin for lunch. In the next scene, we see that all these people were lying there drunk. Pei-yu is taking Yi-han to his room because he was very drunk. Yi-han was praising her, hearing which she was blushing. Pei-yu puts him to sleep in the room. In the morning, when someone knocks on the door, Pei-yu goes to open it, but Yi-han grabs her and makes her sleep next to him. Pei-yu thinks, could it be Lin? Because he was also with them last night. Lin was standing outside. Then he thinks of something and leaves from there. A little later, when they both come out, they see that Lin has cleaned everything and left from there. She calls Lin and says sorry and asks him to come for dinner. Lin agrees to this, but he says, next time don't keep drinks and you always be happy. Yi-han, sitting next to her, was on his phone. He sees on the phone that people were making a lot of hate comments about Pei-yu, so he doesn't let Pei-yu use her phone. Then everyone starts playing games together. Making some excuse, Pei-yu comes to her shop, where she finds out that someone repeatedly comes to their shop and writes very inappropriate things in Pei-yu's name. Just then, they see that another man comes there with paint and starts writing something on the wall. Just then, Yi-han comes there and catches that man. That man tells them that he is doing all this at Ching's behest. Then these people make a plan to teach Ching a lesson and call her, and ask her to come to the shop. Yi-han was repeatedly getting calls from Candy, and she was asking him to come and meet her. He kisses Pei-yu on her forehead in front of everyone and leaves. From there, A little later, Ching comes there and is very shocked to see that man there. Then an argument starts between her and Pei-yu. Pei-yu had a lot of evidence against Ching, which could even send her to jail. So she gets angry and leaves from there. Then we see Kandi and Yihan. Kandi was explaining to him how he should handle all the situations, but Yihan was not paying any attention to her words and was busy on his phone. So Kandi takes the phone from his hand and sees that there was footage from their CCTV on his phone. Seeing which, she gets an idea and she posts that CCTV footage, which Yihan's fans like a lot, and they start seeing Pei-yu and Yihan as an ideal couple. Everyone at Yihan's house is also sitting and watching their CCTV footage and liking it a lot. But Yihan was not liking all this because these were his and Pei-yu's private moments. This afternoon, Yihan had sent her very expensive flowers, over which she had a fight with Yihan because Pei-yu wanted him not to spend so much money and learn to save money. That's why she had sold those flowers to everyone in her shop. And now she was very happy. Just then, she meets Yihan, and then they both come home. Here, Yihan says, "Now I will also save money and do as she says." Then he asks Pei-yu about the flowers. Did she throw those flowers away? Pei-yu tells him she sold those flowers. Hearing this, Yihan is shocked. Next, Pei-yu is working at her shop. Many customers had come there, so that no one would recognize her. She had also put on a mask. Just then, Yihan comes there and starts helping her. Seeing him there, everyone is shocked. Yihan says, "I have come here to help my wife because I don't have any work right now." Pei-yu asks him to leave from here, but he doesn't agree. After finishing work, they both come home. The next morning when Pei-yu wakes up, she is looking at something at the window. Just then, Yihan comes from behind and hugs her. Then Yihan takes her to the bed and says, "Let's go on a honeymoon. I don't even have a shoot right now." Then Pei-yu comes to the shop when a notification comes on her phone that an international nail art competition is going to be held, in which whoever is the winner will get a chance to go on a world tour. Seeing this news, she gets very excited and also tells her friend about it. Then at night, Yihan, Pei-yu, and many of their friends come for dinner. After finishing dinner, Pei-yu takes Zishu and leaves from there. Then, over some matter, an argument breaks out between Yihan and Pei-yu, at which Yihan gets very angry and takes his bag and comes to the movie set. Seeing him, Lin asks, "Did your wife kick you out of the house?" He says, "No, I just came here like that." Then we see Gao Long, whose sister's condition had become very serious, and now she had to be admitted to the ICU. Then, when Lu Ming comes to the set, he sees Yihan sitting there. Lin tells him, "Your sister kicked him out of the house." At this, he says, "He must have bothered my sister." And then he goes to get angry at Yihan, but Lin somehow manages him and asks him to leave from there. And then he says to Yihan, "If things are not going well between you and Pei-yu, then you will divorce her. After that, I will get a chance." Hearing this, Yihan is absolutely shocked. Then we see Pei-yu in a library where she had come to buy a book. Just then, she sees a poster for an art exhibition. She wanted to go there, but the shopkeeper says, "The show is tomorrow itself and the tickets are already sold out." Then we see Lin, who had bought that ticket from a man with great difficulty. Yihan was also there, who had been following Lin for a long time. As soon as Lin gets that ticket in his hand, Yihan comes to him with the speed of wind and runs away from there with those tickets, and Lin didn't even know. Yihan comes home and tells Pei-yu, "I have bought this ticket for you." Seeing this, Pei-yu becomes very happy and starts giving him many kisses on his face. Seeing this, he is very happy. In the next scene, we see Yihan sitting on the stairs, and Pei-yu was talking to Lin on the phone. Lin had arranged the ticket for her, and whatever just happened, that was just Yihan's imagination. Then the next day, Lin and Pei-yu go to the art exhibition. Pei-yu meets Yihan there. She asks him, "What is he doing here?" and also starts talking to him about art. Just then, Lin comes there and shows them some photos in which Yihan was with Ching, and now everyone was talking about him. Lin says he has to leave from here. Then we see Kandi, who was thinking about Ching. Why and how did she do all this? Then she goes to Ching and tells her to delete all those pictures. Then we see Yihan and Pei-yu, who have come home from the art exhibition. Coming to the bedroom, Yihan also says sorry to her for his mistake and asks to fix everything again. Then Pei-yu also agrees, and they both kiss. The next day, Pei-yu is sitting and working in her shop when her friend asks, "How is your married life going?" She tells her, "Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it goes badly. There is no adventure. This is what's going on in our lives." Just then, 4 people come there and start taking her away from there. She screams, but those people were forcibly taking her from there. Pei-yu's boss also tells them not to, but those people don't listen to anyone. They bring her into the car. She was screaming loudly. Just then, Yihan comes from behind, seeing whom she is shocked. Yihan says, "You wanted adventure in your life, right? So how did you like this?" Then he brings her to a countryside. That place was very nice. Pei-yu also feels good coming there. Yihan tells her, This is the same place where you came with your mom in your childhood. Knowing this, she feels even better. Then Yihan asks her to read the letters given by her mom, but she refuses to read them. So Yihan says if she doesn't read them, he will burn them. At this, she opens one letter with courage and starts reading it. Then a flashback scene is shown of how Pei-yu and her mom used to enjoy their life in childhood. After reading the letters, Pei-yu finds out that her mom loved her very much. The scene comes to Gao Lang. His sister's condition was now even worse, so he calls Kandi and says, "Tell Yihan to come and meet my sister once. After that, she will die." Kandi tells him, "Yihan is not in the city." Hearing this, he starts crying. Then we see Lin and Kandi talking outside a hotel. Kandi says, "I know you like Pei-yu, but she and Yihan are now very happy in their lives, so don't you come between them." Lin says, "I don't want to do that either. I just want to see Pei-yu happy." Then the next day, Yihan and Pei-yu come back to the city. Yihan was hungry, so he asks Pei-yu for dinner. At this, she asks about his favorite dish, so he says, "I am your husband, and you don't even know about my favorite dish." And he gets angry and leaves from there. Pei-yu comes to her shop and starts thinking about his favorite dish. Then she calls his friend and asks about his favorite dish. But he also doesn't talk to her properly. But he tells her the name of a restaurant where Yihan used to go with Kandi. Yihan comes to pick her up, so Pei-yu asks him to go to the restaurant. They both come to the restaurant. Pei-yu is shocked to see the menu there because all the dishes were very expensive, and the bill had to be paid by Pei-yu. But Yihan orders the least expensive dish there, and instead of a drink, he takes water. After having dinner, when the bill comes, Pei-yu was looking at it with great fear. But when she sees the bill, she becomes happy because the bill was for a very small amount. The next day, Pei-yu is in the shop, where she is preparing her new design for the competition. She had to post her designs so that people would vote for her. At this, her boss says, "You tell Yihan to post about your competition on his social media." But Pei-yu didn't want to involve Yihan in all this. She says, if Yihan posts for her, then everyone will vote for her only. So she posts her design herself. At night, she also tells Yihan about her post. Yihan sees that she was getting a lot of hate comments on her post, so he calls someone and tells them to report those comments. The next day, Pei-yu is sitting upset in her shop when her boss and her friends see on their phones that Yihan has posted about Pei-yu's competition. That's why many people are coming to their shop. Seeing which, Pei-yu also becomes happy, and she calls Yihan, and they both make a plan for dinner. Then we see Lu Ming, who has just come home. He sees that Zishu was washing his clothes, but she had put all the white clothes in with the colored clothes, due to which all those clothes were ruined. Meanwhile, it was someone's birthday on Yihan's movie set. Everyone is enjoying the party. Kandi and Yihan were also here. Kandi tells him about a project. Meanwhile, Pei-yu was very happy in her shop because her design had become successful. Ching, standing outside, was feeling very jealous seeing her so happy. Meanwhile, we see Lin and Kandi. Lin was calling her, but she was ignoring his calls. Then Lin sends her a voice message. He wants to date her, but Kandi doesn't even listen to it and deletes the entire chat. Then we see Lin cooking in Pei-yu's house. Pei-yu had cut her hand, so Lin was cooking there. Lin asked her to make a video of him cooking and post it. So Pei-yu asks, is he doing all this to show someone? He tells her about Kandi. Pei-yu is very happy that he likes Kandi. Meanwhile, Yihan also sees that post and calls Pei-yu and asks, what is Lin doing here? Pei-yu tells him he has come here to help her. But Yihan gets angry at this and cuts her call. Then we see Ching, who was with Gao Lang. She was very emotional and angry, and she says to Gao Lang, my life is completely ruined. My work, my body, everything is finished, and now I don't even have money. She blames Gao Lang for all this and says all this happened because of him. Then Gao Lang angrily tells her, Yihan killed my sister, and the scene cuts right there. Then we see Lin, who, after cooking, is about to make Pei-yu taste his dish when Yihan comes there and angrily throws Lin out of his house and calls him and says, now he is not even working with him. But Pei-yu is very happy about all this and says, Lin's idea is working. Yihan asks about the idea. So Pei-yu tells him, Lin likes Kandi. At this, Yihan is also shocked and says, when I couldn't get Kandi, how will he get her? Meanwhile, Lin is talking to Kandi on the phone. Kandi tells him, don't come between Pei-yu and Yihan's relationship. Lin tells her, tomorrow he is going for dinner with Pei-yu, but Kandi refuses and says that she will go with him instead. At this, Lin is very happy and texts Pei-yu to tell her Kandi has agreed to go to dinner with him. Here, Yihan also sees his text, and then they both start talking about their date. The next day, Pei-yu tells everyone in her shop about being selected in the competition, so everyone congratulates her. Then at night, Kandi and Lin meet. Kandi asks, why are you after Pei-yu? Lin says, when did I say that I want Pei-yu, and didn't you hear my message? But Kandi doesn't know anything about this. Then Lin makes her listen to his voice message. At this, Kandi has no answer. Then Then we see Pei-yu, who is making a painting for Yihan's birthday, where her friend tells her about one of her boyfriends. At night, while going home, Pei-yu was talking to Yihan. Tonight she will make dinner. Then she sees the same restaurant in front where Yihan had gone before. There, Yihan was having dinner with his friend, and he says to his friend, "After how many days I have eaten good food today?" At this, his friend says, "Just a few days ago, you came here with Pei-yu." At this, Yihan says, "Then Pei-yu paid the bill, right? That's why I ordered very cheap food." And Pei-yu, standing behind, also overhears all this, and she feels very bad. Then Pei-yu comes home and starts cooking. Just then, Yihan also arrives, so Pei-yu tells him to eat food. Yihan is unable to say anything and sits quietly at the table. Pei-yu was bringing him one dish after another. Yihan, who had already had dinner, was finding it very difficult to eat anything. But Pei-yu, in anger, was feeding him even more food. Then they both go to sleep, so Yihan tries to talk to her, but she doesn't listen to any of his words. Then Yihan starts persuading her, so Pei-yu tells him about her competition and also about her new designs. She has made a new painting in which there is Yihan's face. Hearing this, he becomes very happy, and he also praises her a lot and then asks the reason for her anger. So she tells him that she had overheard the conversation at the restaurant. For this, Yihan also says sorry from the heart, but Pei-yu says, "It's my fault too. How much I am changing your lifestyle." Then everything is cleared between them. The next morning when Pei-yu goes to the shop, after talking to her friend, when she goes to her table, she is shocked because the painting she had made for Yihan had fallen down and broken. Pei-yu is very upset and is picking it up. When her friend sees the CCTV footage, she is quite shocked, but she comes to Pei-yu and doesn't tell her anything and asks her to make the painting again. Pei-yu immediately goes to get the material. After she leaves, her friend again sees the CCTV footage, in which she finds out that in the morning when she and her boyfriend came here, her boyfriend was the one who broke that painting. She calls her boyfriend and talks about this, and then deletes the footage and comes to Pei-yu. Pei-yu was trying to make the painting again, but now she didn't have those materials. The materials she had used in the previous paintings were gifted to her by Lin, but now she will have to order those materials, which will be very expensive. Meanwhile, Yihan was on the set of his shoot. He was thinking about Pei-yu getting angry again and again. He asks his friend about this, so he says, "These could be signs of pregnancy." At this, he starts searching about pregnancy and asks his friend to bring some pregnancy-related items. So he says, "First you should ask Pei-yu about this and take her to the doctor." At this, Yihan says, "What if she doesn't want to keep the baby?" That's why he didn't tell her about it yet. Then Lin comes there and asks for his help in convincing Condi, but Yihan doesn't give him much importance and leaves from there. Just then, Condi comes there, so Yihan tells her to stay away from Lin. Condi says, "As long as you are shooting here, I will have to stay with him." Then Condi starts talking to Lin very normally, which makes Yihan feel very strange. Then we see Pei-yu, who takes out the card given by her mom and thinks that now she will buy material with this. Yihan also comes there and starts talking strangely to her, but Pei-yu doesn't pay attention to his words and goes to the washroom and starts checking how much money is in that card. When Pei-yu comes out of the washroom, Yihan gives her a necklace. Seeing it, she starts crying. Yihan doesn't understand why she is crying, and Yihan tells her, "Don't cry. There is someone else with you too." Pei-yu doesn't understand his words and becomes happy seeing the necklace. Then the next day, Pei-yu is making a painting when her friend comes and invites her for dinner. Pei-yu agrees to this. Then we see Yihan, who is cooking. Then he comes to Pei-yu and gives her fruits to eat and tells her not to take stress. Pei-yu tells him the invitation card for the competition was supposed to come, but it hasn't come yet. And if it doesn't come, how will she go to the final of the competition? Just then, she gets a call from her friend, and she invites her for dinner. Pei-yu didn't feel like it, but she can't say no to her friend. Yihan also insists on going with her, and they both go for dinner. But even after going there, Pei-yu is only busy on her phone, and when she gets a call, she gets up and goes to attend it. Just then, Yihan tells her friend, Pei-yu is under a lot of stress for her nail art competition. Just then, her friend's boyfriend tells them, after winning the competition, she will have to go to different places in the country for 3 years, and she won't be able to come home for 3 years. Yihan is completely shocked to hear this because he didn't know about it until now. Then we see Yihan and Pei-yu walking. It was also raining a lot there. Just then, he asks Pei-yu, "Whom will you choose between your career and me?" But Pei-yu doesn't answer this question at all and remembers that she has to go meet Zishu now. So she leaves Yihan right there and goes. Yihan comes home alone. Just then someone comes to give him a card. Yihan doesn't read it and just throws it away. But after a while, his eyes fall on that envelope. He opens it and sees that it was about the nail art competition. Seeing it, Yihan gets very scared. Just then he remembers that if Pei-yu wins this competition, she will have to stay there for 3 years. But Yihan didn't want that, so he throws that card in the dustbin. Just then, Pei-yu also comes there. so Yihan goes to throw the trash from the dustbin outside. Yihan was in a lot of tension. He was thinking whether what he did was right or not. Just then, he hears Pei-yu screaming from the washroom, and the scene cuts right there. The next scene is shown a week later where Pei-yu was on the set with Zishu and was watching the final broadcast of the nail art competition. But because it was in English, she couldn't understand anything. Zishu says, "Yihan thought you were pregnant," and now everyone there knew about this. And that day, Pei-yu had fallen in the washroom, so her hand was fractured. Just then, Lu Ming comes there. He watches that broadcast in which the host there says, "They really liked the designs of one nail artist, but they are not able to contact them." He translates all this for Pei-yu. Just then, Pei-yu's design is shown live there, seeing which Pei-yu is shocked because she hadn't even received an invitation. Then she comes to her old house and sees that there was no card there either. When Yihan comes at night after finishing his shoot, Lu Ming tells him everything. Then Yihan goes to Pei-yu and sees that Pei-yu was sitting outside the house sadly. Yihan also goes and sits next to her. Pei-yu tells him, "She called everywhere, and everyone is saying that her invitation has been delivered from there. But then why didn't she get it?" Yihan explains to her, "It's okay, you can try again next year." Then they both come home. Pei-yu had an injury on her hand, so Yihan goes to the washroom to fill water. Just then, Pei-yu goes to the security room and starts checking the CCTV footage of the apartment. There, she sees that Yihan had received that envelope. Seeing this, she is completely shocked. Yihan was waiting for her in the house. When Pei-yu comes there, she goes to the washroom without saying anything to him. Yihan tells her from outside. He wants to talk to her. He wants to explain something to her. At this, Pei-yu agrees to talk to him and comes out. Yihan tells her, "At first I thought that envelope was for something else. Then later, I was thinking that you are pregnant and will go abroad for studies for 3 years. Then what will I do here alone?" Pei-yu tells him, "Who told you about staying abroad for 3 years? You should have asked me about this once. You have destroyed an important part of my life." And she gets very emotional and starts leaving from there. Yihan tells her to stop, but she says now she needs to stay away from him for some time. At this, Yihan also can't say anything more to her, and Pei-yu leaves from there crying. Yihan was also very upset. The next day, Pei-yu leaves Yihan's apartment and comes back to that small house where she used to live before. She had taken this house on rent, and 2 or 3 days pass like this. Then we see Pei-yu in her shop where she is working and is reacting as if everything is going on normally. But her friend is noticing everything. Just then, she gets a call from Yihan. She tells him, "Pei-yu has been behaving very normally for 2 days. She eats on time and is also doing her work well." She asks him, "Is your relationship going well?" Yihan also lies, "Yes, everything is fine," and cuts the call. Then Lu Ming comes there. Yihan, seeing Lu Ming coming there, starts imagining that he must have come to kill him. Imagining this, he gets very scared. Just then, Lu Ming comes to him and asks, "What happened to you all of a sudden?" Yihan tells him everything and says, Pei-yu has not been at home for 2 days. She has left home." Hearing this, Lu Ming leaves from there. Then we see Pei-yu, who comes to her room after shopping. Zishu is sitting somewhere outside with Lu Ming when she gets a call from Pei-yu, and they both go to her house. Pei-yu says she used to live in this house before, so it is very comfortable for her, so she will live here now. But Zishu asks her to go back to Yihan's house, but Pei-yu doesn't listen to her at all and says that competition was very important for her career. She had worked very hard for it too. That's why it's not possible for her to live with Yihan now. Their lifestyles are also different, and they both have compromised a lot for this marriage. But not anymore. Here, Pei-yu didn't want to go back into Yihan's life again. Lu Ming and Zishu start to leave from there. Zishu says Pei-yu is overreacting a lot. Lu Ming says Pei-yu also wants to become successful like Yihan, and that's why she is working so hard, and there is nothing wrong with that. Whatever her decision is, he is with his sister. Then we see Pei-yu, who is signing the divorce application, and she is also very upset. The next morning when Pei-yu's eyes open, some people are locking the door. When she opens the door and looks, some people have brought a lot of furniture. They tell her, Yihan sent all this. She calls Yihan and asks about this. He tells her he sent all this. She can use these things, and when her anger subsides, she can come back home. Pei-yu tells him now she wants to divorce him. She has taken this decision after thinking a lot. She doesn't consider herself worthy of him, and she will send him his furniture and divorce papers together. Hearing this, Yihan doesn't understand anything. He says, will she divorce him because of a competition? Pei-yu tells him, because of this competition, she could have proved herself and her abilities in front of everyone, but he didn't let that happen. and now they can only remain as friends, and there is no need to tell the public about all this. After saying this, she cuts the call. After hearing her, Yihan runs to her house where those people were fitting the furniture. They tell him, Pei-yu has left from here. Yihan goes to her shop and asks her friend about Pei-yu. She tells him she has taken leave from here, and where she is, nobody knows. Then he searches for Pei-yu everywhere, but he doesn't find her anywhere. Just then, Yihan's friend comes to him and tells him he has to go for the shoot now. Everyone is waiting for him. So, unwillingly, Yihan has to go to the set, but he was very upset there. Just then, his friend gives him an envelope and tells him Pei-yu sent this for him. Yihan says he will see it when he gets home. Then he goes and sits on one side and is crying. He is not able to talk to anyone. Kandi starts to go to him when Lin stops her and says, at this time, let him control his emotions himself, and whatever he is feeling, let him get it all out. Kandi also agrees with him. Then Yihan comes home after the shoot and opens that envelope. Inside it are the divorce papers. Seeing it, Yihan is very hurt, and he tears those papers right there and throws them away. Then he goes to a nightclub and drinks a lot there. On the way, he is walking drunk when a girl comes and supports him. Yihan mistakes her for Pei-yu and hugs her. In the next scene, Yihan was in a hotel room and he was shocked as to how he got here. Just then, Ching comes there and shows them photos of him with her from last night. Seeing them, Yihan gets very angry and breaks the phone right there. Ching says she's made copies of these photos. She leaves, saying that she will ruin his life. After she leaves, Yihan calls Kandi and tells her everything. Kandi comes to his house and scolds him a lot. How can he make such a mistake? Then she says, we will tell everyone that those photos are edited. Just then, Kandi also finds out that he and Pei-yu are getting a divorce. Just then, she gets a phone call from someone, from which she finds out that Yihan's photos have been posted, and Gao Lang has done all this. Kandi asks to find out Gao Lang's whereabouts. Meanwhile, Yihan and Ching's photos have gone viral everywhere, but Pei-yu doesn't know anything about this yet. She has come to a bus stop, and everyone was staring at her. Just then, Kandi calls her and tells her everything about this. She sees on her phone and finds out everything, and comes directly to Yihan's house. There were already many people there, but Yihan was not at home. Just then, Yihan's friend sees Ching has posted another video in which she has said that Yihan and she already had an affair, and he likes her, not Pei-yu. Lu Ming also shows a post on his phone that Candy's husband had made. He had said, first Yihan also had an affair with Candy, and that's why they both also got divorced. Now they all get very worried. Candy was also quite upset. Yihan was going to have a collaboration with a very big brand. That too is not possible now. Lin asks him, does he have any idea now? Candy says, now she has no idea. Lin hugs her and says, don't worry, everything will be fine. Candy and Lin are leaving the house. Candy tells Pei-yu not to divorce Yihan, because if she leaves Yihan's side at such a time, he will be very broken. Pei-yu also understands this and refuses to get a divorce. Then we see Yihan, who was sitting alone in a place. A lawyer also comes there. He asks for a solution to the problem. The lawyer says he will try his best to solve his financial problems. Yihan asks him about Pei-yu, so he tells him Pei-yu is his wife, so it is possible that she will also have to sell her property. Yihan says, what if he divorces her? The lawyer tells him to do whatever he has to do quickly. Then we see Pei-yu, who was at home and was also very sad. She had that drawing of Yihan that she was going to gift him, and Yihan had kept all his bank details and files to check, so Pei-yu also checks them, and then she puts them all in a bag. Just then, she hears Yihan coming there. She quickly runs to him. As soon as Yihan sees her, he angrily tells her to leave the house. Pei-yu doesn't understand anything. Yihan says, now their divorce is done, and now he doesn't love her anymore. He has many girls who are much better than her. That's why he wants a divorce. Pei-yu says, she said the thing about getting a divorce in anger, but she loves him very much. But Yihan forcibly throws her out of his house and locks the door and sits right there. From outside, Pei-yu is repeatedly calling him, but Yihan was very sad. He is not answering any of her words. He comes to his bedroom where the painting made by Pei-yu is kept, seeing which he misses Pei-yu a lot. Then we see Candy, who is telling Pei-yu about Yihan, and she also tells her now she will have to sell her and Yihan's property too, because they have to return money to other brands who don't want to work with them now. Pei-yu says she will soon bring the money and give it to her. Then Pei-yu comes to her rental room and lies down on the sofa. That furniture was given to her by Yihan, seeing which she thinks about how much money Yihan wastes. Then we see Kandi, who is sitting in the car and checking all of Yihan's files. In it are the card given by Pei-yu's mom and the papers of her house. Meanwhile, Yihan calls Pei-yu and tells her to come out and also tells her he has a lot of money so Pei-yu doesn't need to give him money because their divorce is also done. Pei-yu says, "You are doing all this to save me because if we live together, I would also have to give money." Yihan says, "No, it's nothing like that and you only love money." Pei-yu says, "No, she loves him." Hearing this, Yihan was very hurt. He can't say anything and starts to leave, leaving the file there, which had the papers of Pei-yu's house and the divorce papers. But Pei-yu takes those papers and runs after him. Both of them were crying a lot here. Then the next morning when Pei-yu's eyes open, someone is knocking on the door. When she opens the door, her friend is there, who is crying a lot and tells her she has no idea where her boyfriend is, and he is not picking up the phone either, and the address he gave was also wrong. Pei-yu finds all this very strange. Why did he do all this? Then they both decide that they will go to the police. Then we see Yihan, who had come to the set. All the media people were surrounding him and asking questions. Just then, Lin comes there. The reporters start asking him questions. Lin says, whatever happens, he believes in Yihan, and he doesn't care about anything. Their movie's family is very big, and they all stand with Yihan. Then, Lin takes Yihan out of the car and takes him to the set. Then we see Pei-yu and her friend near a restaurant. They couldn't find out anything. All the addresses her boyfriend had given were wrong. Pei-yu says, "It's a good thing you distanced yourself from such a person, otherwise who knows what would have happened later." She asks Pei-yu about her and Yihan's relationship, so Pei-yu tells her, "I don't know who told him that I would be away for 3 years for the competition, and that's why he tore up and threw away my appointment letter, and I left his house and talked about divorce, which hurt him so much that he drank, and then all this happened." She tells her, her boyfriend said all this. Hearing this, Pei-yu understands that whatever is happening is all a plan. Pei-yu asks for her boyfriend's photos and leaves from there. Then she comes to Candy and tells her the one who kidnapped her on her birthday was Gaolang, and he has leaked Yihan's photos before too. He thinks that you and Yihan are pretending to be together. Your relationship is fake. Pei-yu also tells her about her friend's boyfriend and her doubts. Candy says, there is definitely something wrong with this, and she will surely find out. Then they both start connecting all the problems together and say, Gao Lang has planned all this, and now they first have to find that boyfriend, and then everything will be fine. Then we see Yihan, who is shooting right now. His dialogues were very emotional, which he was really feeling. Just then, Lin says cut and stops the shooting and tells them, now the shooting of their movie is complete. Then we see Yihan in the car with his friend. They both were talking. Yihan emotionally says, because of his mistake, everyone is facing problems. Then he asks, what has his agency done so far? His friend tells him, they want to terminate your contract, but Candy has told them that if Yihan is not in the agency, then that agency will not exist either, and she herself will not be there either. But the agency doesn't want to let Candy go right now because Candy is a very good employee. Hearing this, Yihan is feeling very guilty. He comes to his house and his friend tells him, by tomorrow, he will have to leave this house too because they will have to sell this house too. He might have to shift to some hotel. Yihan says he will pack his things and go and ask them to leave from there. After they leave, Yihan starts packing his clothes. Just then, he sees Pei-yu's clothes there, seeing which he starts thinking about her and becomes very sad, and comes to the bathroom and starts crying. In the next scene, we see Candy and Pei-yu together. Candy had found out about that boyfriend through her connections. He was going to come to a bar, so they both had also come to that bar, and they split up to look for him. Just then, Candy finds Lin there. Candy also asks him to look for that boy. Just then, Pei-yu finds him. Seeing Pei-yu, that boy starts running away from there. Pei-yu and Candy together chase him. Candy gets a cramp in her leg while running, so Lin makes her sit there and starts fixing her leg. On the other side, Pei-yu, who was still running after that boy. After a long time, he himself gets tired and sits down in a place. So Pei-yu comes to him and starts asking the truth. But just then, he raises his hand to hit Pei-yu. But by then, Yihan comes there and stops him. Then that boy tells the whole truth. He works for Gaolang, and he had given him money, and he explains everything he had done for Gaolang in front of Yihan. Whatever that boy had said, Pei-yu records everything on her phone, and she also calls Candy and tells her about this. Then, Yihan and Pei-yu sit together and say sorry to each other. Yihan kisses her on her forehead and leaves from there. The next day, Yihan comes live and tells everyone what things happened in what way and what he has endured. And now he will also leave the industry. Pei-yu is also watching all this and immediately runs to his house, but she doesn't find Yihan there, but Candy and Lin are there. Pei-yu tells her Yihan has also divorced her, and she doesn't know where he has gone. Yihan, standing a little distance away, is watching her and is crying. Then we see a scene from 2 years later where Pei-yu is in her shop and is watching the news, in which the news is coming that Gao Lang is now being punished in Yihan's case, and Ching Ching was also with him in all this, and Yihan is freed from all allegations. Hearing this, Pei-yu is feeling very good. Then we see Pei-yu in another place where she is shooting a blog. She had also become very successful now. Just then, Candy comes there. Both of them sit and talk. Just then, we find out that Pei-yu also has her own nail art company. They both start talking about Gao Lang. Candy tells her, Gao Lang's sister was a very big fan of Yihan, and she also had a heart disease. Once Gao Lang had brought his sister tickets for Yihan's concert, seeing which she was so happy that she had a heart attack. The doctor told Gao Lang that she should be given something that makes her very happy. After this, Gao Lang had tried a lot to reach Yihan, but he couldn't do it. That's why his anger came out in this way. Pei-yu also feels quite sad for Gao Lang. Then the day of the award function comes, where all the people are waiting for Yihan. Yihan was supposed to be given an award there, but he was not there. His photos were put up. Just then, Pei-yu comes to take the award in Yihan's place and starts her speech. Just then, she feels that Yihan is coming there from the front, but she thinks that this is her imagination, and she starts giving her speech, in which she talks about Yihan's life, what things and what kind of problems he has faced in his life. Everyone stands up and claps after hearing her speech. After the function, Lin asks to drop Pei-yu home, but Pei-yu refuses because she wanted to be alone for some time. Then she starts going to her house when on the way, she sees a teddy bear that she had seen with Yihan. Seeing it, she starts calling out Yihan's name loudly. Just then, Yihan comes there, and both of them get very emotional seeing each other. And they are also very happy to meet each other after so many days. Pei-yu puts his ring on Yihan's finger, and with this, they have a happy ending.